families, it's Carolyn, and welcome back to my RV life. I was hoping today we could have a very open, honest, and frank discussion about Patreon and the whole e-begging myth, as I like to call it. This message is not to the trolls who are never ever going to understand in a million years the whole Patreon thing, or understand people actually working hard to make a living at YouTube. For some reason, that just goes way over their head and they're never going to get it. So I'm not speaking to those people. I am speaking today to my loyal subscribers and viewers who honestly just don't get it. And I can understand the question, and I can understand why some people wouldn't quite understand. So I wanted to address that today. First of all, much of my audience, and I do look at my statistics all the time. I'm a marketer. That's what I do. Data, graphs, and analytics. That's just what I do. And my audience are predominantly about 45 to 65-year-olds. So for those of us in that age range, the world has changed. And understanding that now people make a living in new and exciting and creative ways can be a little bit of a stretch for some of us. And I think especially for some people who look at me and think that I'm just on vacation all the time, or I'm a homeless bum, I think it can be really hard to understand that making videos is a job. A lot of you have been going on vacation for 30 years, shooting videos from your video camera, and you're like, that's not a job, that's what you do on vacation, you know? So I can totally understand that aspect of people looking at it and going, that's not a job. Get over yourself, you know? Who do you think you are to think that you should get paid to make videos? Ask anybody who has been on YouTube for 2, 3, 4 years, how hard it is to build a channel of 41,000 subscribers and get 5 million views in 8 months. And that is what I have done. There is so much more to building a successful YouTube channel than just shooting vacation videos. So I can understand, though, why a lot of people would think that this isn't a job. But I do want to point out that it's not just about making videos. It's about creating a sustainable, successful channel. About supply and demand. If there wasn't a demand, I wouldn't be here. And I saw that there was a huge demand, 20,000 subscribers in 40 days. So that told me that there was a market for this. And so then I started thinking, wow, maybe I can make a living out of this. You know, this is kind of fun. And I got really excited, and I started making more videos and really wanting to. I got excited and I got caught up in the excitement of my channel growing so fast and people being so excited about my videos, and the emails, you inspire me and thank you and this is awesome and I can so relate to you. And I really got caught up in all of that, and I really discovered that I love telling stories and I love creating videos. This has become kind of my new outlet, so that I don't even write anymore, but I get to tell my stories now through my videos. And I know me, I can't do anything halfway. And I went all in immediately. I saw the success and I was riding the wave, and I went all in, and immediately I was creating 12 videos a month. I was also still maintaining my marketing business and my marketing clients. Not only maintaining, but still trying to grow my practice. And anybody who's been a small business owner knows that marketing yourself is, you never stop. And so I was working 2 jobs. I was working my butt off. My whole goal of living in an RV was to cut my cost of living so that I didn't have to work as much. And here I was working 2 jobs now, building a new business, my YouTube channel basically. And I was working 60, 70, I was working constantly. And I decided I had to make a decision. And so I put it out to my YouTube viewers. Here is where I'm at. I can quit making videos and go back to full-time marketing consulting, or I can find a way to make a living. And I don't need to make what I was making in the Bay Area. I just need to make enough to live in an RV, which is a fraction of what I used to live on. And so I put it out to my viewers, and my viewers who had already been telling me to go on Patreon just embrace Patreon. Is just a way for the viewers who choose and who have the means to pay for the content that I create. And a lot of you might be asking, YouTube is free. Why the hell should I pay for content? And you shouldn't. if you don't think it's valuable enough to pay for, that is so totally your prerogative, and I don't hate you for that at all. But for those who do feel that it is valuable enough that they want to pay for it, like going to the movies or buying a CD or going to a concert, paying for cable, some people feel that it is equivalent to that, and so they feel that they want to help support my channel to make sure it stays there. I'm in your homes, a lot of you, 3 times a week. Some of you enjoy it and want to pay for it. So with that said, I want to make something very clear. I get emails all the time from people who say they feel guilty that they can't join Patreon. Please, please, please. I absolutely never want anyone to feel obligated or guilty for not joining Patreon. It's a choice. And so I also just want to make one thing very clear. Both sides are equally important. Patreon is helping to supplement the income that I'm losing from my marketing business while my channel grows. Those who watch my videos, subscribe and share and watch my videos all the way through, you are just as important because you're on the back end helping my channel grow so that maybe eventually I don't need to rely on Patreon so much. I'm sure there are always going to be people who feel that they want to pay for the content that I create, and that's fine. But I just want to make it very clear that those who aren't on Patreon, I don't hate you. I don't think anything less of you. I'm not resentful or anything. I appreciate literally every single one of you, and I just hope that you realize that. And in fact, some of you can attest to the fact that I have turned down your money, right? I know there are several people out there. A couple people have written to me and said, when my Social Security kicks in next month, I'm going to join Patreon. And I've written back and said, if you are living on Social Security, absolutely, positively, I am not taking your money. Patreon is for the people who have the desire and the means, okay? The desire and the means. I don't want anyone to go out of their way or to give me money that's taking out of their own comfort or necessity. And that brings me to another point that I really want you to understand. I am not a charity. I'm not down and out. I'm not suffering. Even with all the problems with Matilda, I don't need donations. I'm not a charity, and I don't take donations. I even put a button on my website a while back that says if you want to donate to a worthy cause, you can donate to my charity, which is Child Haven in Fairfield and California. They help abused and neglected children and their families. I just really feel like I need to stress that point. I am not needy. I'm not down and out. So if you are living on a fixed income, please, please, please do not join Patreon. No, I'm 50 years old. I work hard. I am more than capable of working very hard for everything I need. And I would feel really bad if, I knew that people were taking money that they need because they think I need it. I don't. I'm working very, very hard for my money. And I think my patrons understand that they are paying for a service. They are not donating to me because I'm needy. So I really want to make that very clear. Okay. My videos that I share about what's going on with Matilda are simply to share my journey with you. And for those of you who are thinking about coming out here and doing this so that you can see the realities of living in a really old RV, it's not about tugging at heartstrings, hoping that you'll give me money. I think I have been pretty clear that I've got money in the bank, and that was my goal of living in an RV. You know, my cost of living now is nothing compared to what it used to be. So with my marketing business, and I have been taking on a little extra business, I'm down to 1 client. I've had this client for 3 years, thanks to Patreon. I am making videos full time, except for 1 client. He's been with me for 3 years, and I'm not ready to pass him off to someone else. But all my other clients, I turned over to a trusted colleague. I have taken on some projects in the last few months because I am stuffing extra money away, but I'm willing. I love work. I love to work. You know, I mean, I live in an RV. I mean, what am I going to do all day? anyway if I don't work. So I don't mind working. So I just please, 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 I want to make that clear. I don't need charity. I don't need handouts. I work very hard. And for those who choose to pay for my videos or support my channel or however you want to look at it, I do hope that that is how you look at it and you don't look at it as helping somebody who's needy. Because if you want to help somebody who's needy, there are way more worthy people out there than me. And yeah, okay. So I hope that clears up. I hope that clears it up for some of you about what Patreon is all about. Patreon is maybe even a tip jar, if some of you want to look at it that way. But it's basically, one woman just wrote to me and said, I'm turning off my cable next month because you're way more interesting than cable. And so I'm going to join Patreon. And I'm going to take part of that cable bill money and join Patreon. And that's how people view it. My research has shown that more and more people are turning to YouTube and not watching TV anymore. So some people look at it as just paying for TV, it's paying for entertainment. It's paying for information. And that's how some people view it. I don't expect everybody to see it that way. I don't expect everybody to understand. I know that some people are old school and it's like, YouTube is free. It's always been free and I'm not going to pay you. And that's okay. Just watching is all the payment I need because you who watch are helping my channel grow. So with both of those together, I am able to make a living doing what I love. How many of you would jump at the chance to make a living doing your hobby? Because what happens, and this is part of the reason I had to make a choice, is because if I was doing marketing consulting full-time still, I probably would have stopped making videos a long time ago. It's just kind of hard to keep your focus 100% on both. And that's what was happening, actually. I mean, I was focused so much on making videos because I was so excited about it that I really just kind of slowly started moving away from the marketing anyway. And it's really hard to stay 100% focused on two very demanding full-time things. So for many of you who think about your hobby and think, oh, I don't have the time to do my hobby as much as I'd like because I have all these other commitments and I have to work. What if you had a chance to make a living? What if somebody was willing to pay you for your hobby? How awesome would that be? That'd be pretty awesome, right? Well, fortunately for many of us, YouTube has given us that opportunity. I hope that cleared it up for some of you. I hope that you can understand a little bit better what I'm doing here, what we're all doing here. I'm just making videos that it's supply and demand. Like I said, if there was no demand, I wouldn't be here. And if people didn't value my videos, the market would speak for itself. I wouldn't be getting any views, so I wouldn't be making any money on that side, and I certainly wouldn't have almost 200 patrons supporting me. So I hope that puts into perspective. I know the e-begging word is thrown around so much, especially in our community. And this is why, actually, the good story here. When I first moved into my RV, I didn't tell any of my clients, any of my colleagues. It was a complete secret for the first year. None of my clients knew that I was still working for them, traveling the country in an RV. Didn't matter. As long as I had cell phone and as long as I had phone and internet, it didn't matter where I was because I know how people think. The minute I told them that I was living in an RV, they would have immediately thought I wasn't doing a good job for them. They would have immediately thought that I was slacking off. It's just all mental. It's a mental thing. But the fact is, I lived in an RV for a year. They never knew and wanted to hire me and renew contracts and things like that. I can guarantee you, if I had told them that I was working for them for an RV, they would have started finding problems, right? Because that's what we do. And that's what a lot of the hater trolls do. They hear she's living in an RV and they just look for reasons to call me an e-beggar, freeloader, homeless bum, because that's what they already think about me, right? So that's my little talk with you about Patreon and about YouTube. I hope you all know how much I appreciate you. And again, I just want to reiterate, those who support me on Patreon and those who don't support me on Patreon are equally important because the Patreon people are supplementing my income while I build and you are building. You are the blocks that are helping me build. You are just as important, and I hope you never ever feel that you're not as important as the patrons because you are. All right? I love you guys. The support is amazing. Some of you know I've gotten really close to some of you, and I've really opened up, and some of you know how hard this can be some days. So I just want to thank you all for the moral support. I need it. Some days I really need it more than others, but the moral support and the way you all embrace me and stand by me just means the world to me. It really does. All the money in the world couldn't pay for that, and I hope you believe that. Thank you all. I'll talk to you soon, and in the meantime, I hope you can remember to be happy, be free, and be kind. Talk to you soon.